Welcome back everybody, I hope you're having a great day today. I'm wearing contact lenses and I also have a haircut. I'm sorry if this is weird. My hair was out of control and I was getting so sick of my glasses. They'd fall down all the time, I'd smudge them 100 times a day. So I'm trying contact lenses. And yeah, even seeing myself in the viewfinder is a little bit weird. So I'm sorry if it's a bit weird. Pineapple Toys here and we're ready to go. Am I the a-hole for basically crashing out at my mother-in-law over the gender of our baby? Hi all, I felt like I needed to share this and ask for some other perspectives. So I, 26 female, and my husband, 32 male, married for 2 years and been together for 5, are expecting our first child. We're both thrilled and excited for our new arrival. I'm not fussed on the gender of my baby, neither's my husband. We just want a healthy and happy baby. Thus, we have not found out the gender. Rather, we want a surprise. Or at least I thought. I had a pretty good relationship with my mother-in-law, thus I've been updating her on my progress and giving her the ultrasound images and so forth. I'm about 8 months in, not long to go, and my mother-in-law's been dying to know the gender, constantly asking if we changed our mind, and time after time my husband and I say that our minds are set on a surprise. However, all of this changed. Recently, we live in a small town. I had some mutual family friends approach me in the middle of the supermarket and congratulate me and my husband on having a baby, and how exciting it is to have a little boy. First, I was taken aback and I expressed that we don't know the gender of the baby, where the family friends replied that, oh yes, mother-in-law's name told us that it was a boy. I didn't say anything at the time, I just smiled and turned to my husband and kinda just went, you need to investigate this. He called his mother, asked her for an explanation, and she explained that she asked her friend, showed them images of the ultrasound. They work in the medical field and midwifery, and she confirmed that it was a boy. My mother-in-law's gone and told everybody. I'm furious that I, the mother, am finding this out last, when I didn't even want to know. Oh, this is awful. My husband questioned her and was told that I just wanted to know and I couldn't keep it to myself. My husband cussed her out furiously, explaining that that was not okay. I then grabbed the phone and I handed it to her, expressing my deep disappointment and my anger and how I do not want to see her for a while. My husband completely shares and supports my anger. However, my 2 sister-in-laws and 2 brother-in-laws have called me the a-hole and expressed that I shouldn't talk to her like that. My husband completely supports me in this, but I find it so strange that no family members have contacted him and called him the a-hole. Maybe I did overreact. No, you definitely didn't. I'd love some constructive feedback. Am I the a-hole? Of course not. Your mother-in-law's awful, and the sister-in-laws and brother-in-laws need to stay out of it. Oh, you shouldn't speak to her like that. She's upset. Like what? Have you not considered how upsetting this is to OP? Oh, the mother-in-law's upset after doing what she did and completely overstepping. But OP needs to feel bad because she's upset. The audacity. Update, we're in Australia, so we have a Privacy Act, APPS. I'm not interested in a lawsuit. I'd simply rather just have the baby in peace and not worry about the legalities. However, my husband has contacted his family and called for a family meeting with his mother and siblings for tonight. Note, his father, my father-in-law, has nothing to do with his mother. They're divorced, and he supports me and my husband fully. My husband said that it's up to me if I wish to attend. Second update, my apologies about the late update. A lot has happened in the last couple of days. I needed some time to think and life happens. Where to start? Family meeting. I decided to attend so I could require first-hand information rather than my husband providing me a recount. I also decided to attend as this is something that I need to deal with myself and not just allow my husband to do the talking and essentially hide behind him. We arrived and immediately the atmosphere was so tense. Did I cling on to my husband like a little girl? Yes I did. Alas, when we finally made it to the table, everybody was sitting in silence. Mother-in-law, 2 sister-in-laws and 2 brother-in-laws. It was so bloody awkward. I believe the only thing that extinguished the awkwardness was my husband immediately cutting to the point and explaining that he will not tolerate any disrespect to his wife. Direct quote from any of you holes, and that he felt disrespected and that his mother had no right to inquire about the gender of the baby, the way that she went about it, how she told people, and immediately the atmosphere shifted. My mother-in-law seemed like she was tense and guilty, and both my brother-in-law and one of my sister-in-laws looked horrified. My sister-in-law immediately explained, mother-in-law's name did not tell me this. She told me that you abused her over her simply wanting to know the sex of the baby. Oh, how the tables turned. 3 of my siblings-in-laws were enraged that their mother had lied and tried to spin the story her way. They all apologized profusely to me, explaining that they didn't know. Oh my god. The table exploded with cusses thrown at the mother-in-law from all 3 of the siblings, all expressing, Mum, that was not okay. That's You didn't have a right to do this. Not saying that I enjoyed watching this throwdown. I most definitely did. But I appreciated how my sibling-in-laws immediately apologized to me and my husband and supported our claim. My mother-in-law broke into tears and apologized for her actions and expressed her heartfelt, sincerest apologies. I'd like to say that I believe I'm a very forgiving person. However, I did not forgive. I suppose my unforgiveness stems from the fact that she only seemed somewhat apologetic once the majority of the family heard the truth and they turned against her. My husband agrees that it doesn't sit right. We're also having a tough time with my husband's sister, let's call her Liana. Still believes that it's not, I quote, the biggest of deals, and I still overreacted. Liana and I have never got along, and I suppose I expect nothing different, as she's in nice terms, and that's being nice. Must take after my mother-in-law. My husband has explained to his mother that we're taking a step back from her life, as our privacy was breached and that we expect a drastic change in behaviour if she wishes to meet her grandchild. My other sister-in-law, let's call her Judy, supports this decision entirely, as she too, when pregnant with my nephew, felt pressured in telling her mother the sex of the baby and felt smothered the entire pregnancy. Judy has since stayed over at our house and has helped things get ready for our little arrival. She has apologised profusely and couldn't have been a better support during this time. She also believes that her mother has a lot of change happening in her life and some bloody reflection on her actions. I have obtained the phone number of my mother-in-law's friend and had the conversation and clarity with her. The conversation entails that my mother-in-law showed her all the still images I gave her. I gave her every single one from every scan, and she believes that she can see a nub, apparently alluding to it being a boy. Seeking further clarification, she's no longer a practicing midwife, retired, and has no experience reading ultrasounds. I quote, I took a guess. Wow, so it might not even be true? Absolutely furious, I expressed how it wasn't even okay to have a guess. She explained that my mother-in-law took it as gospel, and that she apparently explained that she was only taking a wild guess. She then admitted that it was wrong and apologised, and I hung up. So after all that, there's no saying that it is a boy. This retired bloody midwife just took a guess, and my mother-in-law took it as bloody gospel. I'm so pissed off. Not that I was after a lawsuit, but there's no foundation to a claim of breaching confidentiality. Either way, if this midwife is wrong or right, I understand that it does not excuse any of the actions that my mother-in-law took, and her friend. My husband and I will be having this child in peace, away from her for quite a while. Disgusting behaviour, honestly, even if it is all based on fallacies and wild guesses. I'm going in for my growth scan shortly, and I feel I should just find out now the sex of the baby. I don't like the idea of being in suspense until he or she comes. In all cases, my mother-in-law ruined this for my husband and I know by finding out it deprecates the whole point of having a surprise, but I feel it's ruined anyway. Alas, my husband and I, if we do choose to find out, mother-in-law is not notified, and it's going to be kept private until they arrive. We won't be entertaining contact and visitations for quite a while. Thank you all for your lovely and kind messages. I suppose I'll update you on the sex of the baby if we do find out, as it feels the whole world knows and it's anonymous anyway. Me and my husband have cracked up at some of your replies. They're bringing us some joy at this time. Thank you all. Yeah, this one's unbelievable. So not only did the mother-in-law overstep so bad, but she also lied to the other family members, where the sister-in-law said that she told me that you abused her over her simply wanting to know the sex of the baby. Unbelievable. Where's Pineapple Toy? Pineapple Toy, welcome back. I can't believe the audacity. Yeah, I don't even know what to say. Of course, it's not the a-hole consensus. From what I can tell, most of the top comments are from before OP updated their post. Like the top comment, not the a-hole, and when mother-in-law doesn't get to see any photos of the baby for a few months, much less see him in person, she has no one to blame but herself. The one below that, not the a-hole, mother-in-law's a huge a-hole, and she wouldn't be meeting my child for a very long time. Tell her daughters that this situation is absolutely none of their business, and block them. Your husband can deal with his own a-hole relatives. Yeah, and now we know that the mother-in-law lied to them. Once again, Pineapple Toy cannot believe the audacity. Am I the a-hole for refusing to buy my boyfriend's daughter a gift and silencing his notifications while I was away on a business trip? I, female 32, went on an 8-day business trip to Japan. I work as an external consultant for a company. This would be a visit to scale our services. Me and 3 other colleagues would visit, but we'd be at the same site for only 2 days until we spread out to other areas. I was very excited until I told my boyfriend Brian, male 38 of 8 months. His reaction wasn't very positive. I asked him what was going on, and he said that he was spaced out because of situations at his job, but he assured me everything was fine. Days later, he asked if I could take him. This caught me off guard, and I said that I needed to think about it, and then he said that he'd want his daughter to come along. I understand his point. She's 17, female, and loves anime and has impressive knowledge on some very niche characters. She won't meet anime characters. But also, I have my own kids, 4 and 5, and I'd rather share that breakthrough with them, although realistically talking, bringing them would be unprofessional. My accommodations were paid for by the client, and that I'd already confirmed. I got a very nice accommodation, but it was definitely booked for a single traveller. My colleagues all had other rooms. Bringing his daughter would definitely require a separate bedroom or a suite. I would not go back to cancel on the accommodation, or ask them for a larger space. That would be unthinkable. Or do anything to mess up the schedule. When I told Brian, he said that I should be able to ask for some changes. I also realised that he wasn't ready to pay for any of this, since he said that he would reimburse me later. I'm financially okay, but the whole idea of this trip is to make more money, not to spend it, and potentially be unable to recover it. Also, it was never like a vacation or anything, and he said things that showed me that he didn't understand or believe that me and my team and I were on a tight schedule. I could surely spend time with him and his daughter after work, but while bringing them at another time, and not in this situation, I didn't ask the client at all because I was embarrassed. Also, I began to worry about his sense of humour. It's not like I've mastered Japanese business etiquette, but I took the time to learn, and Brian sometimes does stuff that gets him in trouble. He'd be having dinner with our client and colleagues, and I could either have him stay at a hotel, not a great way to treat a partner. Hello, Jin, how are you? We would be having dinner with our client and colleagues, and I could either have him stay at the hotel, not a great way to treat a partner, or bring him along if it was permitted, but that would be awkward, especially if it messed up the accommodation schedule. When I candidly expressed this concern, he got extremely pissed off and gave me the silent treatment. This stressed me out, and I told him. I left for the airport when he was still not talking to me. We talked only a few times while I was abroad. His daughter did not reply to any of my messages. I don't know if he falsely told her that she was getting an early high school graduation present as the trip, or if she was just mad at me. I got a hold of a huge plush anime character and I took a selfie asking if she liked it. No answer. About 1 or 2 days before I flew back, he started texting me with requests. He wanted me to go to XYZ, this and that for his daughter and for his nieces. I got very angry because she didn't even reply to me, but he had no problem asking me for more and more stuff, and that put me off. I told him that his daughter never even replied to any of my messages, and he didn't say anything about it. I ended up silencing his notifications and buying presents only for my family. When I got back, all I wanted to do was spend time with my kids since I've never been away from them. I kept on putting off seeing Brian until last Friday when we met for pizza, and he looked uncomfortable. He said that I let his daughter down by allowing her to think that she was getting the plush toy, and was also in disbelief when I confirmed that I didn't bring her anything. I told him that I didn't think it mattered since she completely blanked me out. We had a back and forth, but there was no resolution. I feel more lost than when this whole thing started. I feel like he thinks that a gift for his daughter was the solution to everything, and I disagree. I'm doing my best to create a good future, and I'm a bit on the fence about continuing the relationship. I care about him and his kid, but I'm afraid of being used or dragged down, and the way that he pressured me made me really uncomfortable. I'm also a bit hurt because I built a relationship with his daughter, and not getting a single reply to my messages is a bad look. I'm tempted to think that she's either angry because I didn't agree to bringing them along, or that maybe he told her to ignore me. I'm planning on ending things because I need clarity, but also maybe I'm being unfair. I think there's the possibility that he got overly excited and got carried away, but I know he'll likely be unable to pay me back. Am I the a-hole? Update. Thank you to everybody for their advice and their input. I wanted to clarify about the plush toy incident. His daughter and I used to spend time together, some afternoons after school while he was at work. I did give her spontaneous gifts that she enjoyed. We would email and text each other during her time with her mum, joint custody. When I sent the toy picture, I wanted to know if it was up her alley. I would have bought it if she said that she liked it, but I got the silent treatment instead. I know some of you think I was wrong for not bringing her anything, but part of my choice to leave him does come from feeling like they acted like an exclusive clique, where others can't be accepted unless they give to them. She left me on scene and left me asking, hello, like an idiot. We broke up last night. He wanted to come to my place, but I didn't allow it. I drove to his place instead, and I delivered 2 packages that had been delivered to my PO box, and I told him that I'd return any mail or packages addressed to him from now on. I didn't get out of my vehicle. The conversation was very short but very sour. I told him that he acted too greedy and conceited for me to feel any interest in prolonging the relationship. He tried to explain that his daughter was hurt because she had her hopes set on the trip. Yeah, but who got her hopes up, dude? Like, were you promising her that you were going to go on a trip together? That you had no place guaranteeing? But I said that this was a lesson for her, so that she learns to work for her own things when she becomes an adult, instead of piggybacking her way. And also that this is on him as a father. I took off to avoid more back and forth. I asked him to never contact me again, and I blocked them both. I already changed my locks and changed all of my streaming passwords and stuff. A lot happened in that post. Jin's back, everybody! No, don't leave. No, he's leaving. Okay, so this one's definitely a not the a-hole consensus. The top comment says his demands were insane. Cut your losses and don't even feel a bit guilty. And the comment below that said, I was done when he first invited himself and his kid on OP's dime to a work event in a different country. Dude has no concept of what's appropriate, and his daughter clearly learnt the same from him. I wouldn't even meet up to break up. I'd text him, your behavior has ruined this relationship. I'm done. I'll box up your stuff. And the second top comment says, this is way too much drama for 8 months. I'm glad that you didn't get suckered into paying for his trip to Japan, but I am surprised that you're still talking to him. Not the a-hole, lose the mooch. And the one below that says, not the a-hole, this was your job. Your client paid for it. He has no reason to ask you to take him or his daughter along. If they feel that entitled to whine about not going, that's enough of a strike. His daughter ghosted you. I'm sure you tried explaining to her, but I'm sure that your boyfriend torched you to her, and blah blah blah. If this is only 8 months in, girl, run. Jin, you're back again? What is going on today? You are so cute. Are you going to get in the basket? I fed the cats their lunch probably 10 minutes ago, and I think he still wants more. The next one, would I be the a-hole for breaking up with my girlfriend for her getting a tattoo of her deceased ex's name? My girlfriend's ex died recently. We both went to his funeral, and my girlfriend had been sad. I've tried my best to cheer her up. She's been better lately. However, the other day I saw her with a wrap around her arm. I could tell that it was a tattoo, and I asked her what she got. She showed me, and it was the name of her ex. I didn't say anything, and I don't know if my girlfriend caught on to what I feel. Heck, I don't know exactly how to feel. I feel pissed and sad and jealous and somehow betrayed. I feel like she never got over her ex now. I understand missing him and being sad that he's gone, but to go as far as to get a tattoo? Like, damn. I don't know how to handle this other than to just piss off, to be honest. Yeah, wow. The top comment says, not the a-hole. Yeah, sorry, I don't care how sentimental it is. Tattooing your ex's name on you is a trashy thing to do, especially when you're in a relationship with someone else. It just proves that she hadn't actually moved on. It sucks that the relationship ended, but you don't have to accept every choice that she makes in regards to her own body. She wanted another man's name tattooed on her, so she got what she wanted. You don't want to be in a relationship with somebody who has another man's name tattooed on them, so you got what you wanted. You'll find someone else, she might have a tough time, given the whole another man's name tattooed on a thing, but that was her choice though. My condolences for her loss, and my sympathies to you for yours. The comment below that says, that's a huge red flag. I would not be in a relationship with a woman who tattooed another guy's name on her body while she was dating me. Very much a not the a-hole consensus. And there is an update. I broke up with her, I talked to her and I told her that I couldn't deal with this. She asked me what, and I told her the tattoo. She was somehow shocked. She tried to convince me that this tattoo wasn't like that. I told her she literally got her ex's name on her for the rest of her life. I told her that's just not something you do when you're with somebody else. She told me that she was sorry and that she didn't think about it and that she'd get it removed. I told her if she's going to do it for her own sake, because that's not going to change my mind. I told her the damage was done and I simply don't think she's over her ex. She tried to tell me that she was, but I told her that tattoo speaks so much more than her words. I feel a weird relief. I feel tired but calm. This comment says you have every right to have that boundary. This was not the right relationship for either of you. The one below that says, I think the fact that she didn't talk to you about it beforehand is the real issue. It could very well just be a memorial that she got out of grief, and I'd say that it does mean less if they were broken up when he passed. But also your feelings on this are valid, but I'd say also give her some grace. She's now grieving not only one person that she cared deeply for, but 2 people. The second top comment says, if he died while they were together and the tattoo predated you, okay, I get it. But he died after the breakup? What the f? Good job, OP. Glad to see you keep your self-respect. And the comment below that says, her not thinking how a permanent tattoo of somebody else's name would impact her current boyfriend is so wild. I get that she was mourning, but take a beat to think of the implications of your actions. Her then offering to have it removed is somehow even worse. Like if they meant so much that you'd get it tattooed without even thinking of your current boyfriend, but you'd immediately get rid of it because your current boyfriend doesn't like it, that sort of thinking doesn't bode well long term. Good choice by you. Yeah, definitely does seem like a not the a-hole consensus. Yeah, such an interesting situation. Definitely not something that I thought I'd read today, but that happens in every episode. The next one, am I the a-hole for breaking up with my new girlfriend because she said that her past is none of my business? So I recently got together with my now ex. Things were going good during the dating stage. Anyway, she introduced me to some of her friends, including a male friend of hers. She had other male friends, but this one in particular made me feel uncomfortable with how he acted with my girlfriend. So I asked my girlfriend if there was any history between them. My girlfriend then says, "That's none of your business. My past is none of your business." Honestly, I've been here before. Another ex I had did this BS and cheated on me. So I told her we were done right there and then. I don't think she expected me to actually break up with her then. She followed me to my car and said that we can talk about it, but I told her no. If she's gonna be like that, it's better if we aren't together. I'll be honest, I kinda forced myself to act like I didn't care and to walk away like nothing. Like I'm not hurting because I broke up. But I am. Yeah, once again, definitely a not the a-hole consensus. The top comment says, "We can talk about this." Like you just did, or at least tried to. And she responded by shutting you down. You did the right thing. The fear or action of breaking up shouldn't be the motivator to communicate, but it was to her. That's a red flag, not the a-hole. The second top comment says her non-answer was your answer. This comment says not the a-hole. Obviously something didn't sit right with this guy, so there was something. Rather than discuss it, she got defensive rather than addressing a real concern of yours, so you handled it. Frankly, people like this tend to have entirely too much drama surrounding them in my eyes. I would have split too. This comment says you saw the storm clouds coming and you wisely decided to go someplace dry before the downpour started. Trust your instincts. We have them for a reason. If that dude was acting hella sus with your girlfriend and she got all nasty and defensive when you asked about their history, then you already know what it is. You were 100% right to handle it the way that you did, and proof of that was her following you to the car and doing a 180 with her attitude. You didn't dodge a bullet, you dodged a missile. The comment below that says her saying that like y'all aren't supposed to be a team is so wild. If she can't be honest about the past, how can you trust her in the present? Yeah, the posts today are unbelievable. I'm going okay with the contact lenses. The text has been a tiny bit blurry, but I'm still getting used to them. But yeah, it feels so weird not to wear glasses. The next one, we've got an update post. Am I the a-hole for calling off my wedding after finding out that my fiance never had the money that he promised to contribute? I'll play the original post and then read the update. I'll see you shortly. The next one, am I the a-hole for calling off my wedding after finding out that my fiance never had the money that he promised to contribute? I, 33 female, have been with my partner, 32 male, for 5 years. He proposed in March 2024 and we agreed to get married in December 2025. He promised to cover 70% of the wedding cost and said that he'd transfer money to my account whenever I paid for something. I ended up handling all the planning and bookings. By April this year, I'd already paid around 500 grand in local currency, but when I checked, he hadn't sent me a single cent. I kept reminding him and he always said, "Yes, baby, after work." I work at an accounting firm that has over 40 clients, so I'm insanely busy and I didn't have time to double check every day. But I trusted him. When we finally sat down to talk about it, I found out that he didn't actually have the money. He planned to ask his parents or use future income, meaning that he'd been lying about having savings. All of this time, he bragged about being financially stable and successful. He's a lawyer, but apparently it was all talk. I understand that people can go through tough financial times, but lying about it and letting me carry all the burden? That felt like a betrayal. I decided to call off the wedding and the relationship. Now he's throwing the wedding expenses in my face, even though I did all the work. My parents think I should go through with it since the engagement has already been announced to the family. What are your parents even talking about? You should marry somebody because you've already told your family that you're going to. That's not a reason to marry somebody. Am I the a-hole for calling it off? I feel heartbroken, used, and honestly fooled. And seriously, if you can't afford to get married, why propose in the first place? Yeah, like this comment says, because you already announced it is among the worst reasons to go through with a marriage. Like, oh, people are gonna, be a little bit confused? It's your marriage, it's your relationship. You don't marry somebody just to not cause a little bit of confusion. The second top comment says not the a-hole, but to be clear, this is about the lying and the betrayal, not necessarily about the money. And the top comment says you didn't call off a wedding. You cancelled a subscription to nonsense. Good for you. Yeah, and also this comment. I truly hope that 500k in your local currency is not a major amount. And the comment below that, never go through with a wedding to please somebody else. Dumb attitude from your parents. Hugs to you. Yeah, oh, you better get married so that you don't confuse the relatives. What? And the comment below that, your parents want you to go through with marrying a man who's a liar? Way to have your daughter's back, mum and dad. Yeah, and this comment too, are your parents always bad parents? Or just when it comes to losing face? Yeah, once again, very much a not the a-hole consensus. Welcome to the update. Hi everybody, thank you so much for the support. I didn't expect my post to get much attention, but reading your responses helped me feel less alone and more validated in what I was feeling. It's been a week since I called everything off. He's been texting and calling non-stop, flip-flopping between apologizing and guilt-tripping me. At one point he said, "We can still fix this. It's just money." But it was never just about the money. It was about the lying, the manipulation, the months of pretending to be someone that he wasn't, and letting me drown financially and emotionally while he played the role of the dependable fiance. I'm staying with a close friend for now while I sort things out. I've cried more than I thought possible, but each day I feel a little bit lighter. The fog's lifting. His family finally reached out trying to mediate. His mum even asked if we could just scale down the wedding instead of cancelling it. I told them very calmly that there's no wedding to scale down. I'm done, and I mean it. I've also started looking through everything that I paid for, checking which vendors I can cancel or get partial refunds from. It sucks, not gonna lie, but I'd rather lose money than lose myself in a marriage built on lies. My parents are slowly coming around. My dad said something last night that really hit me. It's better to disappoint people for a moment than to disappoint yourself for a lifetime. I don't know what comes next, but I know what I left behind, and I know that it was the right thing to do. Thank you so much again. You really helped me a lot. Like the top comment says, not the a-hole. It's crazy. You're righting a wrong that could have defined your future. Not just some minor hiccup. Yeah, 100%. The second top comment says, I'm glad your dad's in your corner, and he's exactly right. I hope you'll be able to cut your losses as much as possible and get most of your money back. And the comment below that, you walked away not only from a wedding, but from a future where you would have been the only one showing up financially and emotionally. That's not a partnership. That's a slow erasure of your peace, your dignity, and your sense of self. And you said no to that, loudly and clearly without apology. Yeah, like of course it's not just about the money. Like you said, OP, the lying. The foundation of the relationship, like you said, is built on lies. Okay, Jin's back once again, and moving on to the next post. Am I the a-hole for expecting tequila in the margaritas? This one is marked as the a-hole. My 35 male, wife 33 female got invited to a party at her co-worker's house. I reluctantly went because the only person I'd know was my wife. This is a relatively new job for her and wanted to be able to meet and mingle with her co-workers outside of work. Her understanding of it was that we didn't need to bring anything but ourselves. We show up and it seems like a lively party. Pool with a bar area, music playing. They had a margarita machine and a ton of food. My wife got to talking, so I excused myself to grab a drink. The margarita machine was calling my name, so I filled my cup and I grabbed my wife a margarita. I went back to my wife, I started drinking, and I realized that there wasn't any tequila in it. That's when I noticed no alcohol being around. The host was tending to the machine and I asked if there was any tequila. She looks at me confused and then says, "There's no tequila." I said, "Oh, I thought this was a party." She takes offense at that and says, "It's just a dry one." Awkwardly, I left it at that, and I poured out my drink and I grabbed some water. Host asked me if there was something wrong with it. I said that I wasn't interested in drinking straight sugar. I walked back to my wife, kept to myself, and I ate some food for a few hours that we were there. It made it back to my wife that I was an a-hole to the host. Caused a minor argument between us. Was I though? Very you the a-hole consensus. This comment says, yep, pouring out a drink in front of the host is always rude and childish. Doing it in front of your wife's new co-worker? Even more so. This comment says, I'd say that it's rage bait, but I know people like the OP, and the lack of self-awareness is shocking. Yes, you the a-hole. These are her co-workers. They could be surfing freshly slaughtered cow tongue, and you'd need to sit there and pretend to be grateful and enjoy it. Literally everybody at her job now pities her for marrying you. This comment, you the a-hole for sure. Seriously, man, that's the adult equivalent of sulking in the corner because you went to a party that didn't have a jumping castle. And to add to it, you insulted the host, who was your wife's new co-worker. Very immature and rude. The comment above that says, am I the a-hole for expecting tequila? No, but you're the a-hole for the way that you handled your unmet expectations. You're an adult. This is a work function for your partner at a new job. You were unbelievably rude, and the consequences of your rudeness is all gonna fall onto your wife. Grow up. And the top comment says, you the a-hole. Would you not have been drinking straight sugar if there was tequila in it? You insulted the host twice in a very brief interaction because you couldn't drink alcohol. You just embarrassed the shit out of your wife. Yeah, very much a you the a-hole consensus. Let's read something wholesome. Oh my god, is it really worth it? Oh my god, I'm gonna cry. Boba is kitty cat eyes? That's not a wholesome meme, that's horrifying. My cat be like, earthquake, sleeping. Storm, sleeping. Alien attack, sleeping. Plastic packet opening. Oh, that's so true. Isn't that right, Jin? Like, oh my god, everybody stop. What is this sound? And this one too. Just a happy fella on his birthday. That's all. That is so cute. So unbelievably happy and such a cute face. And a beautiful place to end the episode. Thank you for watching, everybody. I hope you had a great time today. If you did, make sure you subscribe if you want to. And the comment of the day goes to MD Lizzie. Saying that Lego is childish is like saying that puzzles are childish. Yeah, 100%. I couldn't believe that post in the other episode. Like that person's partner and their mum that thought they weren't a real man because them and their son liked Lego. That was such a sad post. Like, it's not childish. Yeah, we read some ridiculous stuff. I'm already excited to do it again. Make sure you look after yourself, everybody, and make sure you have a beautiful, amazing rest of your day. And you know what I'm about to say because I say it every other day. Bye!